Hello everyone, Reza here. In this video, we will learn how to send reminder emails based on a date and time column in SharePoint. We will send a single reminder to users who have tasks due in the next X number of days or tasks that are overdue. Nicely formatted in an HTML table fashion, the user will also get a link that will directly take them to a view in SharePoint where they can take action on those items. So let's check this video out in action. My scenario, I have a SharePoint list that has a column of type date and time. This column is called due date. Type date and time, include time is no. This list is tracking issues. So I have due date for each of these issues. I also have a status for the issues. Scenario 1, I would like to send a report of all the issues that are due in the next 7 days. The status of these issues need to be open. For this, we will leverage Power Automate. I'll create a scheduled cloud flow. I'll give this flow a name, and I will run this every week, Monday mornings, 10 a.m. my time. I'll click create. The flow triggers on a schedule. Next step, I'll add an action to get items from my SharePoint list. I'll connect to my SharePoint site and point to the issue tracking list. Very important, go to show all. By default, get items only returns the first 100 records. You can set the top count to a maximum of 5,000. That's the list view threshold limit. And if your list is larger than 5,000, go to settings and turn on pagination. Here you can set a threshold limit of the number of items to return. The max limit that we can set here is 100,000. Next, I need to apply my filter query to get the items where the status is open. First thing I need is the internal name of the column. The easiest way to get that is simply sort on this column, and in the URL, you will get the sort field parameter. The internal name of my status column is field_2, so I will copy this. And my first filter condition will be field_2 is equal to open. This query I need to combine in an AND operation, and my second query needs to check for items that are due in the next 7 days. I need to query on the due date column. Once again, I'll simply sort on this column so I can get the sort field, which will give me the internal name of my due date column. My second condition will be that due date column is greater than or equal to the current date. And for that, we can write an expression which is UTC now, that gives me the current date and time in UTC format. Important to note, Power Automate works with dates and times in UTC format. Even SharePoint stores dates and times in UTC format. What you see in your lists or libraries is based upon the regional setting of your SharePoint site. If I go to settings, site information, view all site settings, regional settings, the time zone that is set is Pacific time for my SharePoint site. UTC now is going to give me the current date and time. This I want to convert to the start of the day today. And the easiest way to do that is by using an expression start of day. And the parameter within it would be UTC now. So this will get today's date and time in UTC format and start from midnight 12 o'clock. I'll add this. This expression I must put in single quotes, and my due date internal name field underscore 4 is less than or equal to in single quotes. Within this, I need to put my expression start of day UTC now, but to that I need to add 7 days. So I'll use the function add days UTC now, and I will add 7 days to this. I'll click add. That adds the expression within the single quotes, and I'll close this condition. Status is open and due date is greater than or equal to today, and due date is less than or equal to 7 days from today. This entire query will be performed server-side in SharePoint. Order by. I would like to order this by due date in ascending order. So I'll put the internal name of my due date column, space ASC, sorted in ascending order. Next step, I'll add an action, create HTML table data operation action. From array of data, I will pick dynamic content value from get items action. Advanced parameters, show all. Columns, I'll change it to custom. Here, I can pick key value pairs of information that I would like to add in this HTML table that I would be sending out in the email body. I'll show the title of the issue. The header, I'll say title. Value, I'll pick dynamic content title. Next, status value will be dynamic content status value, as status is a choice column. Assigned to. This is a person column in my SharePoint list. Value for this will be dynamic content assigned to display name of the person to whom the task is assigned. And finally, due date. This, I'll go to expression. I'm going to format this. So I'll use the format date time function. The first parameter, dynamic content due date, comma, what's the format? I'll put a capital D. It's the short date format. Add. I would also like to apply some styling to my table. So I'll add an action. I'll use the compose action that I will rename to style. I have gone and added a style tag. And last step, I want to email this. Send an email. This email, I will send it to myself. Subject, issues due in next 7 days. In the body, dynamic content, style, dynamic content, create HTML table. I'll save the flow. Let's test this out manually. I triggered the flow. It goes, gets the items from SharePoint, applies the filter condition, creates the HTML table, and sends it out in an email. The email is as follows. This includes all the tasks that are due in the next 7 days. Next, if my due date column includes time as well. Now, this date and time is based upon the regional setting of the SharePoint site. Back to my flow, in the create HTML table action, due date, here I'm going to make some changes because I also have the time. First thing I will do is I will format date time into the following format. This format is required when using the convert time zone function. So I'll use the function convert time zone. The first parameter is that formatted due date. Second parameter is the source time zone. This is UTC. Third parameter is the destination time zone. I will use Pacific Standard Time. The date format, I will pick the full format, capital F. Update. Let's test this out. The flow runs successfully. Here is the email that I receive, this time with the due date including the time as well, and this is converted to Pacific Standard Time. Now these are listing the items that are due in the next 7 days. If you want to change this, you simply go and change the get items query to make it easier to update in the flow. Right before get items, I'll add an action, compose, rename this to due in X days, and all I have to put here is that number. So let's say 30 days. For get items, the query where I was adding days, I hard-coded 7. Instead of this now, I'll pick the outputs of due in X days. Update. Plus in that send an email action, I can toggle the code view. So that's HTML. I can specify there are, I'll use the bold HTML tag. I want to show the count of items that are due in the next 30 days. I'll use an expression, length of dynamic content value property from get items. Add dynamic content outputs of due in X days. Let's test this flow. The flow runs successfully, and there are a total of 29 issues that are due in the next 30 days. Let's level up. What if I want to send notification emails to the users to whom these tasks are assigned? So Sarah should get one email that lists out all the tasks that are due for her. Same thing for Reza, and same thing for any other user who has tasks due in the next X number of days. Back to the flow. I need an array of all the distinct users to whom tasks are due in the next 30 days. Get items will give me all the tasks that are due in the next 30 days. Right after this, I will add a select data operation action. From dynamic content value. Mapping, I'll switch to text mode, and here, dynamic content, I'll pick assigned to email. So what this select action will include the emails of all the users to whom tasks are due in the next 30 days. Of course, there will be duplicates. For example, there are many tasks that are due to Sarah or Reza. How do I get the distinct values? For that, I'll add an action, compose. I'll rename this to distinct assigned to, and the formula will be an expression union of the output of select, comma, the output of select. one simple expression will give me all the distinct people to whom the task is assigned to. Next step, I need to loop through this distinct array of users. So I'll add an action, apply to each. Apply to each, dynamic content, outputs of distinct. In here, I need to create that HTML table. The style tag, I'll keep it outside of the loop because I don't want to repeat that same tag over and over again. And then for each of those users, I want to send an email. Create HTML table. Right before this, I'll add an action, filter array. Filter array from dynamic content value from get items. This includes all the tasks that are due in the next X days. Here, I want to apply a filter condition, which would be dynamic content assigned to email is equal to dynamic content current item from the apply to each loop. Filter array now has that filtered result set. Create HTML table. All I have to do here is, instead of from coming from the get items action, I will change this to come from the filter array actions body property. The remaining logic will be exactly the same. And for send an email, I was hard coding the person to whom the email is going out to. This now I can switch to advanced mode, and here I'll pick dynamic content current item from the apply to each loop. Length, this one needs to run against body of filter array. I'll update. The remaining part will exactly be the same. I'll save the flow. I'll test the flow. You can see the loop running 3 times. That's because I have 3 distinct users who have tasks due in the next 30 days. And here is the email that goes out for Reza that says there are 13 issues due in next 30 days. Notice assigned to is Reza only. And here is the email that Sarah has received. This includes all the issues that are due for Sarah in the next 30 days. Now let's add a link in the email that takes the user to the SharePoint list where they can take action on these items. And the easiest way we can do that in SharePoint is we can create a view. Here I have a view called due in 30 days that I created in SharePoint. If I edit this view, in here, I have sorted this based on due date and ascending order. And I have applied the following filters. Show me all the issues that are assigned to me and due date is greater than or equal to the token today, and due date is less than or equal to today plus 30, and the status is equal to open. Totals, ID column, I'm showing the count. So if you notice, when Reza signs into SharePoint, this view due in 30 days shows Reza all the items that are due for him. This is a public view. With this view selected, I get this URL. I'll copy this. I'll go back to my flow, send an email, code view. Here, I'll add an anchor tag, href equal to, in single quotes, I'll put the link of that view. The text, I will say take action, close the anchor tag. I'll save my flow. Let's test this out. The flow triggers, runs successfully. Here is the email that Sarah receives. These are the list of issues that are due for Sarah in the next 30 days. There are 14 such issues. Here's that link, take action. Sarah clicks on it. It will take her directly to that view in SharePoint. And here are those 14 issues. You have full power to change the filter, query, logic to get the information based upon your scenario. My due date column, less than or equal to, in single quotes, start of day, UTC now. Add. Done. This will give me all the items that are overdue. The flow runs successfully. Here is the email that Reza receives. Says issues overdue. There are 2. The link I have updated to point to my overdue view. So here it is. And here is the email that Sarah has received. If you enjoyed this video, then do like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you so much for watching.